Okay, so here with another Teen Wolf review. It's not 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm not tired this time, and I actually watched the whole thing, unlike my Walking Dead review, so this should actually be pretty good. Um, this episode is entitled Letharia Vulpina, which is explained very early in the episode, and it's another really good episode, I thought. It was a very twisty, winding, turning episode. So it starts off in Japan with the Yakuza. And basically, Deaton's going to treat this guy's Fox, whom they go, and he goes, oh, well, there's this kind of lichen, which is, I guess, a plant that you can swear before that that the people use that has been used to poison foxes and wolves. But it turns out that Deaton poisoned the fox, and then he paralyzes the guy, the the fox's owner, and so that because he wanted it, so that he can poison the Nogitsune. And so the rest of the episode takes place immediately where the last episode ended, with the power line falls, and a fire hydrant gets lit, and then Isaac gets shocked and injured, and so do a bunch of people. But then basically Kira stops it, and saves everybody, and her eyes start to glow, so now she's like, oh, some of her powers are starting to come through. That happens a lot this episode. And Styles goes missing, and I guess he's missing for like 48 hours. And so Scott, Allison go visit Isaac, and it turns out he's not healing. So Scott takes some of his pain, and everybody's looking for Styles. It's been 48 hours, and there's not a sign of him anywhere. And then Scott and twins hear a emitter in the basement. Turns out it's Styles, and Styles doesn't know what's happening. So they're trying to go everywhere to try to stop all the stuff from happening, because it seems that those Styles doesn't know what's happening, so he wants everything to stop. So they go into the cross-country area, and there's a cute little Danny and Ethan moment, and then there's a cute Scott and Kira moment. But basically, due to a trap set up by the Nogitsune, Coach gets shot in the stomach with an arrow. Or I think he's gonna live. I believe it seems so. And so, that's what that happens. And so Scott takes some of his pain, trying to help that. And then look, some of the more stuff that happens throughout the episode is we see in the back of Scott's Jeep is a wrapping paper similar to the gift that he gave Coach. And then they remember Barrow. He did the same thing. He had a nail bomb with screws and nails in it and bolts in a present on a bus. And so they evacuate the buses at the high school, and Jared, the car sick guy from a previous episode, he's he's holding the present, and so they send in a guy with bomb squad, and they open it, and turns out it's not a bomb. It has Sheriff Stilinski's I guess plaque from his desk on it. So it turns out the bomb's at the precinct, or at the sheriff's station. Now I'm gonna hop over to what happened with Derek and Chris Argent first, which is Argent gets home, and him and Derek are trying to figure out what's happening. And so they look around, and they discover that the briefcase with the money that they were going to pay Silverfinger, the guy from a couple episodes ago, they find that they never took the money, but the money he was going to give them, it's there. And then Agent McCall shows up, and he says, hey, Silverfinger, he's dead. So then he takes Chris and Derek into the precinct. And so they're there when the bomb goes off at the precinct, and Derek saves Chris's life. And so then there's an officer who's dying, and Scott takes his pain and goes with that. And so then, in all the madness and confusion, Kira shows up, and she's like, the Oni are coming, because her mom sets out 5 new Oni who are more powerful. So they go to the animal clinic, because it's got lined with mountain ash, and Scott and Kira fight him off, and Scott gets stabbed by one of them, and they go inside, and Kira's about to pull the sword out, but then Styles grabs her and knocks her out. Because it turns out, I guess, Styles was under control the entire time. It was all a setup. And so since Scott, the Nogitsune feeds off of chaos, strife, and pain, which is, the huge ad campaign that they've done for the whole last week for this episode. So since Scott took the pain from Isaac, the police officer, and Coach, he steals its pain, and then he looks like he's gonna kill Scott, but then Deaton shows up and puts the lichen stuff that's supposed to be, poisonous to the Nogitsune, because that's where it was. The same place where the Oni killed the Nogitsune before is where he got it from, so that's why it affects him. And that's basically that episode. So now that's that major part of the episode. And then the other major part is Lydia's side story, which they find out that Peter's trying to get in touch with Lydia. So Allison and Lydia go to the loft, and they find out what he wants. And so Peter says that he wants to know something because Talia, his sister, Derek's mother, stole a memory from him right before she died, and he wants to know what it was. He's like, I don't know what this memory is. So he, hopes Lydia can use her powers to do that. And there's some antagonizing between Allison and Peter over Kate and stuff like that. So, but then Lydia hears stuff, and it turns out that Peter's a father. And Peter wants to know why, but then when he goes to try to almost forcibly make Lydia tell him, Allison shocks him, and I guess they determined that it's Malia. Malia is Peter's child, which is interesting. That's one of those things that this show throws in every once in a while that I'm like, oh, I didn't see that coming. So, I don't know, this was a good episode. It's first Deaton, finally returns this season, for this part of this season. He'd been absent virtually completely up until this point. He's been absent, and then also we see some interesting moments. Derek and Chris haven't really worked together too much, and more Lydia Peter moments, and all kinds of. This was a really good episode, I think, in the sense of that it added a lot more depth to all the characters. So it looks like with all of the ad campaign, because I watched Wolf Watch afterwards, and it looks like Styles checks himself into a mental institution, or somebody puts him in there, and he's there, and I think somehow he meets up with Malia or something. I don't know. It's a promo, so I don't know what's gonna happen, but it looks really good. I hope, like I said, I hope the season just keeps getting better and better. I mean, there's only like 5 weeks left, 4 or 5, about a month left of it. So I hope they keep up the momentum and the pressure, because it's all really good right now. So yeah, I think that's about it in terms of stuff. So and we end this here, and I'll see you guys later.